Hi there, I'm Willow Grace. Thank you for joining me for this video on Chiron. I'm sharing this for people who just want to understand or learn more about what Chiron is and in astrology and what its purpose is. If you would like to see more, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments in the link below. So let's dive in. So in astrology, the asteroid Chiron is one of the most complex and misunderstood symbols in the birth chart. Chiron circulates in a perpendicular elliptical orbit that glides between the planets of Saturn and Uranus. Its orbit is like a non-planet status, but it's the beginning of this mystery of Chiron. So the story of Chiron in Greek mythology is Chiron is known as the wounded healer. It's a story about a centaur abandoned at birth, but fostered by Apollo, the god of light, and Artemis, the goddess of the moon and hunting. So under their combined guidance, Chiron became an amazing scholar, a teacher, a healer, and a master of many forms of medicine and arts. In the story of how Chiron came to be, his first meeting with reality is inseparable with the abandonment that he experienced by both his mother and his father. The theme of abandonment is central to understanding the meaning of Chiron. It represents a legacy where the parental abandonment of the child sets the stage for a psychologically complexity that is based on the fear of abandonment as the dominant theme in our relationship with others and with the world in general. The understanding of suffering is defined by the myth of Chiron. It reminds us of the tragedy in some respects of the complex part of life for which there is no fix because we have no control over the ways that our wound manifests in our lives. In an astrology chart, Chiron represents the sacred soul wound that our soul wants to alchemize into medicine to share and to help heal others. In each of us, Chiron represents our primal soul wound of separation. Our Chiron wound points to a place in our life where we feel most vulnerable, inadequate, unworthy, and unlovable. It is what is within us that causes us to feel the most alone in our physical experience. In our personal birth chart, Chiron will show our imprinting and our patterning around a soul wound of rejection and of separation. And at the same time, it will reveal the keys to unlock our talents and our healing gifts that come from this. Now, our evolutionary Chiron journey, it asks each of us to take responsibility for healing our own wounds and to experience alchemy that comes out of feeling our way through the pain, all the while holding ourselves with deep compassion. It is through our wounding that we put up these barriers of protection around our heart and our soul. This gives us the perception of safety, security, and this is nothing but an illusion. So over time, this only holds us back and keeps us stuck in a sense of separation. Chiron healing comes out of the broken open heart that allows us to experience our oneness with our source or spirit. This heals the split. The broken open heart is how the light of spirit flows freely from the depths from within each of us into the world, and it's how we receive the light of spirit flowing freely from without to within. It opens up channels for an unobstructed flow of healing energy. Chiron healing isn't something that you can force. It happens in its own time, and it happens over our lifetime. We do not have to do it alone either. Seeking support from a trusted friend, a counselor, a mentor that can help each of us move along in our healing faster. So to understand more, let's look at Chiron's orbit. The Chiron's orbit is located between the planets of Saturn and Uranus. Chiron is viewed as the bridge between the known and the unknown. It represents the span between our perceived earthly restrictions, our limitations and barriers, Saturn, and the liberated Great Awakener, Uranus. Chiron is the key to transcending our limitations and tapping into infinite possibilities, all while liberating us, Uranus. Now, I want to swing back around to the Promethean myth. The gods decided to punish Prometheus, Uranus, for stealing the fire and giving it to the humans. So Zeus chained Prometheus to a rock where an eagle slowly ate at his liver. every day. So Prometheus was immortal. He couldn't die. So the ordeal would repeat every single day for eternity. His salvation came from Chiron. Chiron, being a demigod, half god, half horse, he traded his own immortality to save Prometheus. So the myth of Chiron is a metaphor for the work that we need to do as individuals to transcend the pain of separation and therefore find true freedom. Chiron was half man, half horse, which is a metaphor for the dual nature of our existence, where we are half matter, half spirit. When we fail to integrate our animal and our godly side, this is when we polarize the good and the bad, and in turn, it ends up being positive versus negative. It is only when we learn to integrate this duality that we can recognize that all of these qualities, both positive and negative, can each be found within each of us. That we are no longer triggered by division and witness humanity in ourselves and in others. In the same way, you have to first bring whatever it is that is hurt or is repressed about yourself to the surface so you can deal with it. If you want to heal and grow, there's no other way around it. You have to face the pain. When we process pain, we in fact accept that pain is a part of us, that ultimately embracing that part of us that we're trying to hide. This is how we heal. Chiron shows us what is hurt inside of us and also what we need to do in order to deal with those, to bring those broken parts to the surface so we can heal and become whole. Just like Chiron was half human, half horse, half mortal, half immortal, we too are the sum of our broken parts. There are parts of us that we accept and identify with, and the parts of us that we attempt to reject. When you feel shame, guilt, or inadequacy, we ask ourselves, which part of myself am I trying to conceal or heal? That is exactly the part of you that you must learn to learn to love. When Chiron is moving direct, we look for our answers outside. We go to a doctor, a shaman, to a spiritual practitioner, or to a counselor. We travel to faraway places. We find mentors and people who can teach us things that we don't already know. When Chiron is stationed retrograde, you are the Chiron. When Chiron stations retrograde, the search for healing means to go within and become your own medicine. This is where we have the opportunity to heal ourselves. The Chiron feelings of sensitivity, pain, and vulnerability, they're a symptom of a healing crisis. The bandage covering our wound has been torn away, and there's an opportunity for healing that is about to happen. So when Chiron is retrograde, we apply what we've learned while Chiron is direct, and we heal. Chiron retrograde is when we make sense of everything that we've learned on our own terms. Chiron is a nonconformist. His knowledge goes beyond our limited mercurial knowledge. When you're ready, your inner Chiron will help you heal your physical, psychological, emotional, and your spiritual illnesses. Chiron spends about half a year in retrograde motion. Chiron, like the other outer planets, the healing needs to take time to integrate, so it's slower. We need more time to process its energy and to heal. This is when you take the time to bring all of your broken parts together, including the wounds that hurt the most. This is not about a quick fix, but over time, an opportunity to make peace with the hurt, to accept yourself fully. And when you own your own shadow, this is when you become whole. This is when you take the time to heal. Where Chiron falls in your birth chart, either by sign, house, and aspects it forms to the other planets in your chart, this is an area in which you will feel vulnerable, weak, or that evokes feelings of low self-esteem. Acceptance of his mortal self was ultimately what freed Chiron, relinquishing his immortality by submitting to a mortal death. Chiron's story teaches us that only through our acceptance of our own fate can we become the healer, and suddenly we will forget our woundedness. I hope you've learned something new. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts in the chat below, and I hope you like and subscribe. I heart you.